All right, guys, welcome to the Former Coaches Corner. I already see this is going to be a very good episode. This is episode 4. We've got our guest here, Tanna Tilley. But before we get into Tanna and her once-in-a-lifetime kind of story that she has to bring to us from up in the west coast of the mountains, we got a couple little, I don't know if you can see, but we got a little bit more of the setup that we got going on here. So we're going to introduce again. This is hosted by Shakalaka Bowls, Ocean Isle Beach, and then WA's got a couple that he wants to talk about.
So we got We Oversee Home Maintenance and Repair, sponsor, and then shout out to Social Site Marketing, which is the reason why we actually look like we know what we're doing this time.
If you could see from behind the camera, this actually looks legit. The last couple of episodes were filmed with my iPhone, and now we actually have a setup.
Maybe we can get a picture of the setup. Maybe.
Yeah.
So Social Site Marketing, Nolan reached out to Charlotte Area Sports on Instagram, sent some messages like, hey, see what you're doing. I like it, want to be a part of it. And so he did work with the ACC, and I'm like, okay, well, once I tell him it's not going to be paid, because we don't make any money doing it, I was like, it's great.
This is just giving back.
But we got on a Zoom, and he's like, man, I just miss being around it, similar to us. And he wanted I was like, man, you can do whatever you want. You can do as much as you want to, as little as you want to. Love to have you on board. And we put out some videos, and he's really good.
Well, speaking of Nolan, when you had to go and get that USB cord, one thing he was talking about is wanting it to get into a lacrosse program or to coaching into some aspect. But the same thing that we both said was we couldn't commit to that time.
Yep.
And that's why we do this, is just to give back to something, to stay around sports or to stay around West or whatever it is. And I think bringing you on, Nolan, I think is going to make us, we're not going to get any bigger, but at least we look better doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all look legit.
Well, and shout out that you just said we're going to get Gore's Landscaping or repair Gore Outdoor out here, just $50, and we'll pay Nolan with it or something.
This
like
is
that.
Me paid in advance.
Okay, that's true.
Maybe on the podcast.
Well, guys, this is Coach Tilley. This is past couple of years you were the girls JV basketball coach. Head girls JV basketball coach at West. Now making the transition to indoor track coach. Now is it all indoor or just girls, guys? What is it?
Well, it's just indoor track, so it'll be boys and girls.
Whoever you got out there, you're
you want to
coach.
come run for me this winter? Come on.
Exactly. Well, tell us a little bit. Where are you from?
Okay, I am Tanna, and I am from a small place in North Carolina. It's called Lawsonville. It's outside of Winston. Yeah, Lawsonville. I went to North Stokes High School. Shout out.
I couldn't remember if it was West Stokes.
It's 1A. Yep. It's 1A. So fun fact about North Stokes, when we played in the Tennessee State Championship, we actually played Topsail in the 1A, and now they're 4A. So when I was in high school a long time ago, they were 4A. They were 1A, and now they're 4A.
And we're gonna get into that little conversation that you just said. And we're gonna talk about it later. You played in a state championship. Are you a state championship?
I am.
How many state championships do you have?
We have 2 tennis state championships.
As a team or individual?
As a team, I was runner-up in doubles.
Who'd you lose to?
School of Math and Science.
Sister and brother both went there.
They went to Penn State, the girls who we played. They
were
very good. Yeah, we got to play at the Duke Indoor, tennis facility.
Cool.
It was a really cool experience.
I think I am definitely the low man on the totem pole of where we played. You played in Virginia Tech and Virginia with the managers games. You played in Duke. I played in Kennedy High School. That's about as far as I've gone.
Coach Kelly, right?
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Get him on here.
So real quick, for those that are Eastern North Carolina, where is a point of reference? Because I have to do this when I tell people where I'm from. Where is the point of reference?
Winston-Salem, Wake Forest University. I'm an hour from there. It was
west,
the country.
Hour west, southwest.
Yes.
Is it one of those directions? You're an hour from Wake Forest.
An hour from Wake Forest, whether it's west, east, north, south, you're
somewhere in there.
That was the closest restaurant. Was about an hour away.
Yeah, an hour away. We didn't have a stoplight where I'm from. Cows outnumber people. It's teeny tiny.
Irwin, North Carolina is a small town.
Where's that?
That near Campbell University.
Oh,
that's my point of reference.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you said West Stokes, right?
North Stokes. Is where
now
I
your
went.
soon-to-be father-in-law. Where is he? He has a stadium named after him, right?
He does. He has a football stadium.
What is it?
South Stokes. It's kind of like West Brunswick, South Brunswick, North Brunswick. In the same county. So I went to North Stokes. He taught at South Stokes, and then I coached at West Stokes.
Okay.
It's a little triangle.
So after high school and all that, you went to Appalachian State, one of the greatest colleges ever. By the way, you were one of. I should say that.
Where'd you go?
East Carolina.
So you were a physical education major, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then where did you go after that?
Well, hold on. We shout out. We went to the same. We were in the same program.
Of course. And Caleb Pardue, I got to shout out him.
Yeah,
He's gotten so
Caleb.
mad that he hasn't been shout out on here yet. But shout out Caleb Pardue, one of the greatest universities in Appalachian State,
is.
both PE majors. You are about how much older than me?
Several years.
We won't talk about that. But at the same time, App and ECU actually are some of the top physical education programs in the country, right? Well, I know like our
That's great. They did
professors,
the Spark program.
Yeah, they invented Spark and they wrote the book for Spark.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you do PE? Were you a PE
I was
major?
PE,
Did
PE
you guys do
undergrad
Spark?
business grad school. We did Spark and we used Spark at Schlote Middle.
Yeah.
So our professors, the ones who we learned from, they invented it and wrote the book. Pretty
That's
much.
wild.
I knew that, but I didn't know how far like Spark kind of went around.
Yeah, it was
in the
big.
PE
I think it was kind of new when I went through when it started, but it was a great program. We had the same professors. But so after that, I got my first job back in the same county. It was at a middle school, so I taught and coached 9 years at the middle school, and then I coached high school tennis.
And you went to another state championship, right?
What, as a coach?
Yeah.
No, we didn't go to the state championship as.
So only as playing. You never did it as a coach.
No.
How was the tennis program there?
At West, it was great. We went to the playoffs. We were good.
Did you coach basketball there?
Not at the high school, at the middle school, because when I got out of when I got out of college, I coached back at my home school. Like I graduated in December, so I coached high school basketball then, and then I got the job and did middle school basketball for a couple years, and then I got into refereeing, and then I just did tennis and I refereed.
Gotcha. So that transition, which is one of our topics, that transitions from the middle school to now JV. That's got to be pretty similar, right?
Yeah, it's fundamentals, especially girls basketball, which I don't know if we're talking about girls versus boys basketball later, but
No.
So I can get it because I coach girls and boys, so we can. We
should talk about it. Just as a referee, I can see the difference, but I coached, middle school. It's just fundamentals for girls, so it was the same.
So when I as a head coach, I wanted my JV coach to do all the things that I shouldn't have to coach when they get to my level. Left hand layup, right hand layup, dribbling with both hands. Fundamental man-to-man defense principles.
Middle school, JV.
Terminology and just going up. And I feel like you have to have the right people in those, and a little bit is discipline. Like, because you're getting them so immature at such a young age at the middle school to the JV level. Discipline's a hard thing because not everybody's cracked up to once they get to that next level of being able to commit to that type of time and discipline of grades, whatever it is. That's why I feel like discipline has got to be, I know fundamentals, of course, but I feel like discipline is one thing that is kind of set to the wayside sometimes when we talk about it.
And for one thing about middle school, the seasons are much shorter, and you don't have an off season in middle school. So, but you coach most sports. If you're coaching middle school, you coach a lot more sports. So really, it's the culture that you said and the discipline and the fundamentals.
And the joy, though, too. Our big job in the middle schools, they just got to have fun, too, by learning that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we touched on it because I went from ECU to middle school. I was like, man, it's so much more fun at the middle school than...
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest things of wanting to be a coach and actually being a coach and understanding that at that level, it's more about the kids enjoying playing that sport because so many kids get, we talk about all the time that if they play one sport, they get burnt out so quickly or, they get torn down, and then they just don't ever want to play the sport once they get to the level that they can actually, be effective in. And so letting them have fun, I think, can really help that.
And one thing, because I'm sure you considered this when you were doing cuts in the middle school level, I might have kept the kid that maybe shouldn't have made it on the cut line because of their high school potential for you, because I have you in mind. It's like, get these kids, get them part of the program, and keep them around because you got to have that long-term goal in mind.
I would keep anyone that was willing to show up because this basketball. If we're talking about basketball, it's a long season.
Yeah.
It's hard. You got all the holidays in there because at the middle school I came from, it was the same season as a high school. We played like 14 games. It was a long season. And we lost a lot, so that's really hard when you lose a lot.
And that's, you got to be around people that you enjoy. And I think you were so good at West of recruiting in the classroom of just girls that just naturally gravitated to you, whether they had athletic ability or not. They were fun to be around, and you were able to affect them while using basketball, and whatever it was of, they might not have the best home life or they might struggle in different areas at school, and you were that same consistent factor with them that could have made an impact on their life that they didn't have if you didn't just build that relationship with the classroom to bring them over to basketball. I think that's one big thing with, the younger age group of JV and middle schools.
Well, if a kid now, I would just say, like, when I was growing up, like, the only way I could be, like, do anything after school was sports. It wasn't, I couldn't go to someone's house. I couldn't go to the park. Like, we didn't have parks. But I'm saying, like, I had, we went to the field. But, like, kids now, there's so many options. And a lot of kids here work, which is really cool. But anybody that will spend their time with me after school, I think is willing to have a chance. I'm not speaking for other sports. I'm speaking for
100%.
Girls basketball especially, and even indoor track. I'm telling anyone to come because I can find a place for you if you're willing to spend an hour and a half with me.
That's a great track and cross country. You don't have to make cuts.
No,
you
and
can
I
keep
won't.
everybody.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to make cuts? Because we were talking about in the other episode, that's probably, in my opinion, the hardest thing to do about sports is making those cuts. It really is.
I did, but I don't think I was ever taught the right way. I think, like, I
don't think there is a right way.
I do. I think there's a wrong way.
Oh,
Maybe there's not a right way.
There's a few
but
wrong
like,
ways.
I think girls, handle it different than boys. I think, like, different sports, different ways. But I definitely think I did not have good, like, a mentor to do that. I think that's important.
Okay.
So,
well,
you should mentor someone.
That's what we're doing right here. Well, let's go back a little bit. To, you said it, but we haven't got into it, and that's one of the bigger reasons we brought you on is you have a different perspective of sports that a very small percentage of the population have, which is you were a referee. And you weren't a referee, at Pop Warner, YMCA ball. Like, you were a varsity basketball men's and women's referee at the highest level that you could possibly have. Like, what attracted you to that? Like, what made you want to do that?
I had to pay my house mortgage.
Yeah, well, I guess that kind of that helps.
I mean, I was a coach. I coached 3 sports,
Yeah.
and then I bought a house. And my brother, he's also a referee, and he does baseball. And he's like, "You want to make some extra money?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You want to referee?" And I was like, "No."
That's I think one of the only jobs in this world that I could 100% say no, I will never do.
I said that because I didn't want to be around, like, you teach and you coach all the time, and you're around sports. The last thing you want to do in your spare time, honestly.
Be around it more.
But I had to make more money, so I did it. And you do start out doing the rec ball. And my very first game I ever refereed, which you would get it, maybe he wouldn't. It was Southwest Guilford versus Mount Tabor.
Athletes galore. Everything's above the rim.
They won the state championship that year, Southwest Guilford and Mount Tabor. I don't know if you know the coaches at either school.
Oh, yeah.
It was above the rim, and the first time they wanted a timeout, and it was at Prolific Park. It was a 20-minute half.
Oh, so this is a summer
fall
league
ball,
game.
and it was a fall ball right before
Yeah.
the season, preseason
Yeah.
game. So, like, they're like in it, these boys, and they called a timeout, and they were ripping me, and I was like, they want a timeout. Well, that's not. Like, that's a technical,
Yeah.
we're doing like
Time.
30 or full.
Yeah.
And they ripped me, and I was like about to throw up on the court, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. So I just stood on the sideline and like hid and just kept my whistle in my mouth and didn't blow it again.
That's
my first encounter ever refereeing.
Again, that is as high of a level as you can possibly get.
So I will vouch for you here. We had to, another thing as part of being a graduate assistant manager, whatever, you referee in practice for the teams. It is so hard.
It's so hard
to referee, and because you don't want to call everything. There's a foul on probably every play, but you don't want to disrupt the flow. It is
game management. Yeah,
it is so hard to do when the game moves so fast.
Well, I think you said when I've talked to you before about it, didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think one thing that you said, you liked reffing the guys because the flow was so much better in girls basketball. Like you said, you can call a foul on about every single play, or a penalty of some sort every single time down. Guys basketball, there was such a good flow, and I felt like you said that you enjoyed that a whole lot more.
I did. Girls basketball, it's either a blowout or it's a close game, so there's not a lot of boys game, it can be close. It's like a bad game would be 20 points. Girls bad game's 40 points. It's just different. But girls and boys are just different. Boys is more athletic. Girls, there's more scheming. There's more plays. There's more actual, so coming off screens. Boys can get through athleticism, but good boys basketball, the flow, you don't have to blow your whistle much. It's fun. Did
you think that seeing that from a different point of view, reffing for a little bit and then getting back into coaching, do you think that changed any? So how?
As far as what, a coach or referee, which way?
I'll follow up. So as far as helping you as a coach and helping your team get better,
Well,
how did it help that?
Well, half of the coaches and players don't know the rules.
Yeah.
Even at the high level, coaches don't know the rules.
So give us an example of one that really sticks out to you.
If you have one that comes to.
Okay, so 10 seconds at the court. 10 seconds at the court. Like it's a legit 10 seconds. Well, they want closely guarded. Well, there's no such thing as closely guarded in the backcourt. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
And then backcourt.
So to simplify that, they're wanting a 5-second call in the backcourt, but there's not a 5-second in the backcourt. It's just purely 10 seconds.
You get 10 seconds.
That gets called all the time, and that's also refereeing. Some referees
and maybe
not
it's
know
changed,
it as well.
But
I mean, to me, that's what I thought the rule was.
What, 5 seconds?
No, yours that you're talking about.
The 10-second count does not reset to if the ball goes out of bounds before if it's advanced to the front court. Like if it's
in high school, it does.
It does. It resets.
College is different.
Gotcha.
But no, you get like if it tips out, you get 10 more seconds.
You get 10 more seconds.
And then
exactly.
And then the tip ball, everybody wants a backcourt call. You have to have all 3 components across half court before it's a backcourt. Like
meaning
if I'm
components, what do you mean?
Like if I have 1 foot over, like I'm bringing the ball up the court, and I have 1 foot over the half court line in the ball. That's 2 points of contact.
The third one hasn't gone.
Right, so I can come back.
Yeah.
But once all 3 points, 2 feet.
I think everyone yells at the referee, backcourt, and then all of a sudden they're going to call it. Or not, and it's just, I've 1,000 times I've seen that. Now, what if you're, so many times that we've had, situations where guys are trying to catch a pass in the backcourt, but they're in the front court. So let's say the ball's at midcourt, and the ball's getting thrown, and they're in the air in the front court, but they catch it in the backcourt. So many times in games I've seen that be called backcourt, but it's not.
It looks funny.
Yeah, it looks bad, and everyone freaks out, but it's not backcourt, right?
Right, and it's like when people change out, if you throw the ball in, you can change out people that throw the ball in. When if I have the ball and then you're on my team and you can come get the ball and throw it in. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of little rules that people don't know, but I will say there was this one rule. I wasn't in the game, but one of the schools, it was overtime, and they had all 5 people line up out of bounds, and they passed it down.
We did that all the time. But now that they did change the rule, though. Now only the inbounder guy throwing it in can be out of bounds to start. The other 4 have to be standing inbounds. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules. Because
we had a play set like that. We just called it.
It's basically football.
Called it Omaha. Yeah. Peyton Manning just let them run a couple routes out there. It works.
It's a great play because you don't know. It's you're just reacting. And
all right, so going on a little tangent. But, right there is finding ways to sneak around the rules that someone might not know. But I feel like your interaction as a coach with a ref prior to being a ref has to be different now after being a ref.
Yeah, well, I was at the JV level, and, JV refs for a reason. I was a JV ref for a long time. I mean, I would just say hustle is my biggest thing.
That is we're not shaming anybody to that nature. There. It's hard, no matter what level you're at. But, yeah.
And it's hard, and there's 2-man crew on JV, and varsity is a 3-man crew, and it's better basketball. It's just a different animal. But, JV, it needs to be game management. Game management is a big thing on the ref. So I would just say, I don't know. I respect the refs for giving me their time.
They're there.
But I do expect them to work for their money too. I mean, because I was there. But I don't know. It's just changed. I think every good coach knows the rules, and I think sometimes you don't know the rules until you're actually in it and you're put in situations. So I think I was a better coach just because I knew the rules.
I think when I was coaching, the one thing that I really changed. My first couple of years, I dogged refs so bad. And it's just being young and passionate and trying to be a part of it. But after, to be totally honest, conversation, they do. To have a conversation with you, though, is talking about, I don't want to ref, I want to ask them questions. I don't want to just yell. I wanted to ask them questions, and I wanted to get the knowledge in return, so I knew that they knew what they were talking about. And also, I might not be right. And even though it's the way that I see it, I want it to be explained. And I felt like if we could, as a ref, if you could have a conversation with me, not only did you earn my respect, but I feel like I kind of got your respect a little bit too. Not just, badgering back and forth. Well,
I liked working for the coaches. That's why I loved refereeing, working for the coaches and players, because you have to work with them. Because you put a lot of time into your team. The flow of the game's really they're going to respond to the coach, not the ref. I enjoyed working with the coach, but I was a coach too. So I understood, sometimes they come off a little aggressive. They were just heated. I think a lot of referees don't. They haven't coached. They don't get that aspect of the game, even with the players. But I do think coaches chirp too much. So if you're chirping all game and I'm just hearing chirping, it's annoying. I don't want to have a conversation with you. But if you pick and choose your battles. Like if that was a big call, like a blarge, which I don't think is a thing anymore.
The
charge. Yeah, it's not a thing anymore. Like, let's have a conversation about that, but don't like a walk or a, like.
Something that actually has a little bit of like controversy to it.
One of the coaches, and I've told you this before, one of the really good coaches I like working for was at Forsyth Country Day, and they were always competitive. And he never chirped, but when he spoke, you were like, oh God, I just messed up.
Yeah, what did I miss? But
he gave the refs 5, and he told his players that. He's like, I mean, they're going to mess up 5 times. We're going to mess up more than 5 times. You're going to walk, you're going to double dribble, you're going to miss up, But he's like, after that 5th time, and it's pretty tough. He's like, and I thought that was a good perspective.
No, I do. And I think that's one thing I remember you telling me, that I've used that same exact speech to my guys before in the locker room to, like, halftime when we feel like we're getting swayed one way or the other with the refs. It's like, look, they're going to mess up just like you guys are. And I think that's
Let me ask you this. So announcers, when I was watching basketball growing up, the announcers were always like, Coach K is working the refs tonight. He's real, at home game there in Cameron. Is that a thing? Is coaches working the refs? Is there any validity to that you see? I
mean, Coach K has respect. When you're in the building, like, okay, so good refs get the good games. It's true.
Sure.
Like, the big games, like, if you are a good high school team, you're going to get the best crew that night. And you're 10, you're going to get the best crew. Like, if you're not the best person in the ACC, I'm not saying you get bad crew, but, it's just how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it works now.
So you're seeing the same people in and out. You have a relationship with them. There's coaches
same thing
that
at high school level.
It's not that you give them anything, but they're gonna question you, and they're gonna know how to question you. So yeah, he's probably working them like. He's seeing the game.
He knows their dog's name, their kid's name.
He
they
does.
built that relationship.
But they have that relationship. So yeah, I think that comes with him being good too. I think
that respect, that mutual respect.
But I don't think I've never seen a referee be like biased. People are like, oh, he knows that school. When I was refereeing, I didn't even know who had the balls. You're looking between the plays, you're looking at the flow, you're looking at the clock, you're switching, you're rotating. So like, I don't know. You're rotating and you're working so hard, but like there are players out there that you see all the time and they're like, they're aggressive and they're touchy. Yeah. I do think that that's a disadvantage sometimes when a referee's in there all the time, because they're like, they get used to that girl. They're like, that's going to be a foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's ups and downs with a referee being in the same building.
Well, I know we could literally have our entire podcast talk about this, because this is, at least for 3 coaches in the basketball world, like we could talk an entire episode about this, but I promise you I would try to do it as close as I could to 30 minutes.
Thank you.
You are already talking more than Fletcher and Handy, so I don't know.
Oh God, let's end this. What time is it?
I'm just kidding. But so one of the next topics, and I think it's something that is very near and dear to not only you, but what you have done at West, is the adaptive PE program. I think that is something that has taken leaps and bounds. We didn't even have one at West. And I think it was something that I thought about getting into before you got there. But with being the varsity basketball, there was so much time. And if you don't do it right, it's not worth it. And we can see that you have done it right, the people that are inside the system. Why is that something that's so important to you?
First of all, explain what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
It's just kids with disabilities who physically, mentally, just disabilities. They come and we have PE, but I also have general students without disabilities, and they are my helpers. They're like teachers, but they're all the same. We're all in there working together, and it just sets a school environment like
inclusive.
It's very inclusive, but like my favorite part about it is I get students who are not necessarily like needed, like they're not on a team, they're not in a club, they're not just needed at the school, because the same kids at the school run for the same.
Yep.
They're they're just the leaders,
student body president,
their names come around. I get a lot of kids that are not, and they find their person in there, and they when my general students are in there and then the adapted kids come in, like they're superheroes, like they're like high-fiving them, and it's cool. So I don't know, it brought my joy for teaching back.
Now, have you done that at your other schools?
They would always put them in my class. I liked them, like in my class, but it was hard because
you didn't have the help.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the only teacher in the PE class and you have maybe like 3 or 4, but you also have your regular 24, 25 general ed kids in there, they don't have that one-on-one interaction that they truly need, especially in the physical education world, because so many things can go wrong in that aspect.
Yeah, and you're sharing a gym. Y'all know the gym's overcrowded a lot, especially in middle school. You see all the grade levels, and it's not safe. So, like, It's just, PE's hard because
planning wise too, because
you have 6
planning out
periods.
adaptive is much more in depth than planning out a typical PE curriculum.
Yeah, it is.
As far as the safety considerations and everything. East Carolina, and I'm sure it was the same way at App State. There's high school programs that had adaptive in the area, and they did it so well. It was so much fun. Like,
we did it.
cool.
We did it at App a lot, didn't you?
Yeah,
we had a
came
whole
to
lab
school,
for it. Yeah,
I loved it. We did this. That's where the sign
we,
language
it was
came.
much younger
and
kids. At least when I was there, it was never high school age kids.
They would come to the school like on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
The old gym.
We went to the schools
That's
at
cool.
East Carolina, so we went elementary, do middle school, and then you do the high school.
Yeah, they're cool kids. They just bring a lot of joy.
Well, I know the first year when you really tried to start it, you probably had 3 or 4 kids, and we were just trying to 3 or 4 general ed kids to work with 15 to 18 of the special education population, and you were trying to get kids to move from overcrowded PE classes into you, and they weren't comfortable,
Yeah, and you have to be comfortable.
But I think that comes with interaction,
For sure.
with anybody. I feel like the interactions that you have with that individual, I think it just builds confidence, and it builds just that I don't even know the word that I'm trying to find, just the happiness, and I feel like it's a joy that kids have never felt before until they're in that, something that they're not thinking about themselves.
True, and they just see that people are different, but they're still the same. You know what I mean? We're all the same, and they get to see that.
It's so good. It's inclusive for the special education kids, but it's also education for general ed, because they might not have been around a special needs person before that experience. So you're learning, and because I work for a nonprofit in Greenville, Aces for Autism.
That's
we
cool.
did behavioral therapy for kids with autism. I learned so much about the people helping them, the kids. It was awesome for me because I wasn't around it that much. And, we didn't have adaptive PE at Triton High School. They might have it now, but we did not have it when I was coming through.
It humbles you. It just does.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And now when I was saying you only had maybe 3 or 4, my last year there, you had 12 kids.
Yeah, I think I have 15 this year.
And that's so cool to see that grow like that.
It is really cool. It's cool.
Well, I mean, it kind of gives the proof of the pudding we talk about with numbers all the time that, if you put the right time with the right person in it, it's going to grow and it's going to get better, just like we hope everything else does. But to show how big it is, I've tried every year whenever I was at West, I volunteered the basketball guys to always go to Special Olympics and to help in some way with Miss Spencer and Miss Wallace's classes. And I don't know if they'll do it anymore, but we almost couldn't do it anymore because there's so many volunteers from West, including your class with the leadership program and basketball. Even though, we had been doing it for so long, I was so okay with stepping back with my guys, even though I really wanted them to experience it. But to see that we couldn't go because so many people wanted to be a part of that, that was more satisfying than anything, I feel like. So going in from adaptive PE to the Special Olympics, tell us a little bit about, because I feel like a lot of people have heard it, but they don't know exactly what it is.
What Special Olympics is?
Yeah, what Special Olympics is.
Well, just for the county, for where we are, it's just all the surrounding schools that have kids with disabilities. They come and they compete, and it's fun. I mean, they do it can be a walk, it can be a wheelchair race, it can be a softball throw, and they just compete and they get ribbons, and it's just their day to shine.
A highlight of their year.
It's fun.
And they love it. And, talking about one of my, Zachariah, talking every year, I'm ready to run in that 400. I'm ready to run in that 400. And he won it every single year. But I think with you guys in that class has just made Special Olympics so much better.
It's just bring more awareness to the school. You get people talking. So.
And like you said, it kind of gets people talking about your program too, your class, and gets people to want to join it as well.
And I know the answer to that, but what is the prep time like as far as training the kids for their events in the Special Olympics, and when do you start getting into that? Because usually it's in the spring.
Yeah, we do it a month or maybe 2 months ahead of time. Every Tuesday, they come. They have their partner. Their partner keeps up their time, and they work on their race or their throw-in. I mean, it's really cute because when they get to the event, the best part about my program, and not comparing myself really to others, but they're just ready. They know what to expect. And for those kids, routine's important.
Yep.
For all of us, routine's important. But they show up to their event, they know to throw it, and they know to get in line. We've already practiced it enough to where when it's game day, they're ready to compete.
Now, is there a qualifier for a state special? Because I think there was in Grant. I think you can qualify for states.
In Raleigh, I think it's the summer games, but you also have this thing called Club Unify, and it's in the nation. We have a club at our school. And Zachariah, what he was talking about, he actually ran. It's where they run during spring track against other schools with Club Unify. So with kids with and without disabilities, they run at the track, and then they compete at a track meet.
He qualified for the state.
He did, and he got a pin. I can't remember what. I think he got third in the state. So that's Club Unified's big. So after school involvement's really hard for our students, but we have like 1 or 2 each year that compete. It's fun.
And time-wise, I think we're close.
I don't know where we're at, but we are going to our last topic right now. 30 minutes, perfect. Oh, so we're okay right now. So we're going to the last topic.
Okay.
And I don't think it's going to be too long because you haven't started it yet. But you did say you had some questions for us, so I'm curious. You have nothing, or were you joking?
I was joking.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought.
I can come up with some though.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Well, we have never had questions back to us. So.
Okay, can I go?
Yeah,
I
go right
love
ahead.
asking questions.
Go ahead.
So why did y'all start this podcast? I'm sure y'all covered this. I haven't listened to the other one.
Yeah, so you
episode 1, but I'll let you take it. AT.
Well, I think it's a way for us to stay around sports. It's a way for us to stay around West. Both of us being West coaches at one point, and I'm thinking bringing a different point of view from just the fan point of view of actually hearing coaches, referees, and players talk. Everybody thinks they want to be a ref. Everybody wants to be a coach from the stands. Everybody wants to go back and relive their glory days. Well, this is a chance to, kind of be a part of that for us and to give that feedback and, find a way to give back to the community in one way or another with a new shape of media.
Yeah, it started out as just like we're bouncing around. Yeah, that'd be fun to do. And AT was kind of the one that really was like, yeah, I've always kind of wanted to do a podcast. Like, that'd be pretty cool. And it would just kind of grew from there. And
cool.
Now Nolan is kind of giving us the real rundown of what it actually feels to be a part of a podcast.
I listen to him all the time. I'm excited to listen to him. So what about, all right, so winter sports are here. Mm-hmm. So you've never had a winter off. I don't know. Is this your first winter off too?
No, I've been out of coaching since 2022.
Okay. So how's it feel? Like, because, this is your season.
Great.
Does it?
Yes, 100%. Not, I know this is late tonight, but not getting home at 9:00 at night and absolutely.
What do you mean midnight?
Or or mad after a loss or a bad practice. I think I was more mad after a bad practice than I was after a game. Winning or losing.
How much fun is it just going to a game to watch?
Oh, I can't. Well, going to the football games, like I've been able to do that, but not. We talked about it. I'm not having to work the football games. I don't have to be there.
Well, you're worried about your basketball kids.
Yep.
Are they going to get hurt? Are they doing the right things on the foot? So, you aren't truly, and you still aren't truly an observer because we all have vested interest in the kids that are out there, but you're more of a spectator now than you ever have been.
I enjoy it more, a whole lot more, watching football. I have to still bring a chair and sit in the lawn because I will never sit in the bleachers ever. And even at the basketball games, I'm going to stand on the wall next to the Reeds.
That is another byproduct of Charlotte area sports. I kind of did it so I could go take pictures and not have to go to the games and not have to be around parents in the stands.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing is the being able to be around it without the responsibility, the negativity.
A lot of negativity.
And I think that you're talking about why we do this. That's why we're trying to build so much positivity towards youth sports because there is so much negativity in youth sports to coaches, to players, to refs, to the whole realm of youth sports. We want to bring positivity.
We want to highlight the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, parents have a platform to talk because, Facebook or parent groups or the stands, but coaches really don't have a platform.
No.
Because, I don't want to rant, and I don't have a reason to rant, but seeing our perspective, I don't need to tell, as a ref or as a coach, I don't need to go out there and tell, them my perspective. But this is a good place to start with them seeing the other side of it. Because people don't see how many hours coaches put in. Getting home at midnight, having to teach a class at 7, you're
everybody
taking
talks
kids
about
home.
it, but nobody knows what it is until you actually have to do it.
And the pay that is not commensurate at all with.
You don't do it for the pay.
No, absolutely not.
So I have one more question.
All right. 3 questions.
So where do you see this podcast in a year?
I don't know. We talked about it. We know where we want it, not to how big it gets or the views it gets, but how I have an idea of what I want it to look like. we want to look like Jason and Travis Kelce, your favorite podcast ever. No, I mean,
New news.
it would be cool to, have a computer up here and be able to, like, Zoom people in or,
Cool.
have a camera on WA, a camera on me, a camera on you, and be able to kind of go back and forth with it. We'd love for it to get to that point.
Having student athletes on, and
Yep.
that's kind of but other than that, just keep it going and keep kind of the status quo, just bringing people on that, the community might not know that you were a ref and, at one point, just learn something new about somebody and learn about the adaptive pro is something
that nobody really talks about or nobody knows about unless you're invested in it. And that's why we thought bringing you on would be so good. We get away from West Sports for a little bit and talk about something that is still important without, bringing a different point of view from that.
Well, everyone should try to ref. Y'all y'all go ref. Be a
I
part of the
was,
game.
So I umpired after my senior year of high school before I went to college, or that like spring, fall.
I love it.
I umpired, but it's a little league.
Doesn't matter. Like seeing these kids out here, like at the soccer fields and stuff. I think high school students should do the little kids. To know to get back to the game, to know the rules, to see like another perspective. If I was a varsity coach, I would really encourage my kids to go
It'd be great
ref.
for the community if that took place. Because if you're a
great.
youth coach, are you really going to get into a high school kid out there volunteering?
Right.
The obvious answer is hopefully no, but I don't know that would stand everywhere. But that would be great.
I ref Powder Puff. That's about as far as I'll go with the refereeing, and I hated doing that too.
It's not for everyone, but I don't want to be a head coach anymore, so I give it to you.
Well, we were talking about going into track. You're about to be a track coach.
I am.
You're first.
Woo-hoo.
And I feel like track's, kind of big with you with Keith Gore, your future father-in-law, that is a indoor track, like, God up there in Stokes County.
He's a big deal.
Is he going to help you?
Yeah.
This is going to make him have a little bit of pressure to make sure that he's out there.
Yeah, he likes
bring
being out
Gigi too?
there. No, we gotta have someone keep my kids, but I'm excited. I'm excited to learn from him. He's a cool guy, and
talking to the kids, because he does help already with outdoor track. The kids love him.
Yeah, they love him. He knows what he's doing. He's good with kids, so I'm excited to see that side of him.
And real quick, for those watching that might not be familiar with indoor track,
it's winter track.
It's winter track. But the state championships, probably regionals as well, are actually on an indoor track.
Right, and invitationals, it'll be at indoor, like at a college, like at App, like inside the convocation, there's a track. Colleges put them on, but we're going to be running outside in the cold, which is not even cold here.
Tell that to Reeves when she bundles
It's
up in
not
6
cold
jackets. But when I was at High Point Central before coming to West, that had probably the best track program, indoor, outdoor, that I have ever been a part of. Wayne Jones ran it, and we had a girl go to University of Alabama. She now runs in the Olympics. We have a guy that did hurdles at Iowa. We had two girls go to High Point University. Tamara Clark, if you know the track world, you know Tamara Clark because she ran in the Olympics. She was what's the big track girl that won all the Olympics? Sydney McLaughlin, I think that's her name. Isn't that right? Sydney McLaughlin.
I was going in a different route. I have no idea.
That was kind of that same. They would always compete in like travel and AAU, and it was always Tamara and her, or her then Tamara kind of thing. So it was like I actually got to see what a real track program is supposed to look like.
What an asset to the athletic program too.
And he was the football coach though.
Yeah.
But he was the football coach because most track programs head coaches are football coaches, so they kind of do it for football. He was the football coach, but he ran the track program for the track program, and it was impressive to watch.
Yeah. Track and strength and conditioning. Those are, if you have good people in both, huge for every program.
Track is cool. I mean, it's a place for everyone to be there. Like, it can be anyone. And honestly, the kids that you think are fast, and like the kids you don't think is fast, like you don't know until they get out there. There's
it's a
people
different
like,
type of fast.
It is like anybody can run track or jump or throw. Like if you just learn, you can learn the technique.
Yeah. Okay. So last question before we get out of here. Where, and you might not know this, but give us just a little guesstimate of where you want to be. Where do you see you yourself personally, your program and the adaptive program, teaching, coaching? Where do you see yourself in about 10 years? Do you still see yourself at West in Charlotte, or are you a lifer?
I mean, my kids are here. I mean, yes.
No Idaho?
Ryan would move tomorrow. It just depends. Like, I'm happy. I'm very blessed. Like, I live 2 minutes from the school. Like, it's a good community. I love the people I work with. We miss you. We wish you were back. We were glad that you're happy here. But I don't know. I just, I don't plan. I didn't plan my kids. I didn't plan moving here. So
I'm surprised your phone is still turned on because you don't charge your phone either.
I don't. It's normally dead. I don't know. The adaptive program, I just wanted to keep growing, and I hope to open like a yoga studio or something. I do yoga with my kids all the time.
Yeah, because you do yoga on Sundays and Fridays, right?
Yeah, in the summer here at
What's
the park.
What's it called? Gentle yoga? But what title?
Tidal Flow. I don't know. If you have a good name, I don't know. It was like 5 people.
Check it out. We definitely
on.
follow them on Shaka's Instagram, so definitely check out Tidal.
So I would like to teach yoga. I love that. So yoga, and honestly, I would like to ref when my kids get older. I want to get back into it. I love it. I miss it. It's just the schools are so far away here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of travel
Like
time.
where I'm
we
from,
talked about the geography here. It's just tough.
It's hard. So like, I would like to do high school and maybe collegiate again.
Tate gonna play basketball. Knox gonna play football.
I hope not football.
That's a whole nother topic that's a big parent kind of conversation of
They will play
football to soccer.
They will play a racket sport. I do know that. They will play
Hand-eye
pickleball. They will
coordination.
play tennis, something, or golf, something they can play the
There you
rest of
go.
their life.
Lifetime
They will play a
sport.
team sport. They will learn to play it, and then
It's good.
they can maybe choose what they want to do when they're like 15.
AT, tell them about our guest for next week as we
Yeah.
wrap this one up.
So our next guest that we have coming on is Mr. Hickman, Sam Hickman. A little bit about him is he was the Brunswick Beacon writer, the sports editor, whenever I got to West, and then he kind of took over the entire newspaper. So he kind of got away from like the interviewer for the newspaper. Then he went to Focus, I believe, for a little bit, which he'll give us more of a little bit of in depth of where he came from. And then he now, I don't know,
Carolina Creations.
but he is very involved not only in West Brunswick sports, but he's got kids that are now in the youth, and now we're going to bring in like a youth coach who hasn't coached at the highest level, but at the some of the lowest levels, and bring his point of view in. And he's always been around West Brunswick. His brother was Brett Hickman was the head coach at football coach. His dad Yogi Hickman was the head football coach for years. It was the lone state championship head coach that we had.
Yeah.
And then
I think was he at Whiteville before that?
He was at
West?
Whiteville prior to that, and then Brett, his son, took over for a couple years. Had great years, probably the best year of football that I've seen at West since the 1970s. So it's been around. Brett's now at Anderson. He was the DC last time I saw. But Sam's got so many different, topics of conversation to bring to the table, and I think it again allows us to have the realm of all sports.
He's got the journalism side.
Yep, the journalism side.
The coach's kid side, the coach side, and it'll be fun.
You gonna give it a listen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You gotta listen to this one.
No, I will not. I'm not gonna listen to myself.
Well, we're hoping that this can go out on Friday. Hopefully, you're watching this is on Friday. We're gonna leave it all up to Nolan and that aspect to allow it to get to that
social
point.
site marketing.
Yep.
Thanks, Nolan, for making this possible, where we actually have some lighting, and hopefully the audio is better than it has been. So
you are important, Tanna Tilley. If nobody has told you that, you are important.
Yeah. So
I'm going to shake your hand.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you for coming on,
Absolutely.
and we'll see you next week for episode 5 with Sam Hickman. Thank you, guys.